ain't see me, you Stevie. Wondering how I reach more evolutions than Evie and make it look easy.
What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Ernie, the Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. All right, so today's video, we're gonna be talking about Superman number 20, and this one is a pretty big deal because one of the things I have really thoroughly enjoyed about the Superman run up to this point, though I will say the Night Terror stuff kind of muddied the waters a little bit because it went way off into left field and ended up making it kind of where it was difficult to get back into Superman once all that was done. And during Absolute Power, of course, that was kind of another non sequitur going on there that kind of muddied the water yet again. But at least in that case, it was still a fun read. But, getting back to this, we're getting into brass tacks with Superman. And as I talked about in the previous video, Lois has suddenly become superpowered. She now is Superwoman, seemingly having pretty much all the same powers that Clark normally would have. And we don't, once again, know where those powers came from. In the wake of Absolute Power, a lot of superheroes did not get their powers back from the Amazos, and some even got powers they didn't originally have, while their powers that they would normally have did not return. So here we are with Superwoman, who from the Super family lost powers. We don't get an answer to that, but we do get a promise of things to come, and that's what this issue is all about. We saw in the previous issue that Doomsday is now the new Time Trapper, a being who now has complete and total control over time itself. It's all a part of the natural process for Doomsday, as it's brought up in this issue, as well as it's kind of always been the case since Doomsday was first killed off by Superman back in the Death of Superman story arc in the 90s. Doomsday cannot stay dead permanently. Whenever he dies, he comes back stronger. And however he was killed the first time, he can't be killed the same way again.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you." If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Doomsday no longer wants to be a part of the cycle. He actually wants to break it. He's taken stock of the fact now that he is a fully and more greatly evolved life form than ever before. He kind of refers to himself as wanting to become a god outside of the normal flow of things so he can actually stop the cycle. But I mean, having the power that he has as the Time Trapper, he's practically a god already, just not as omnipotent as he would probably want to believe. But here's the thing, if he were to die again, he would be able to evolve to that level. At least that's his theory, and that's why he is asking Superman for his help. He doesn't want to fight Superman, at least not in a way that is ultimately going to kill Superman or wind up with Superman's death. You see, Doomsday is seeing down the road. He knows everything is coming, and what he wants is for Superman to take him out of the game so that he can evolve to what was effectively perfect Doomsday? I don't know. And while all that's well and good, Superman doesn't really seem to be interested in helping him achieve that, because I think he also probably recognizes that a even more powerful Doomsday, already more powerful than a Doomsday with the Time Trapper's ability to manipulate and control time itself, yeah, I think Superman's probably not that interested in seeing Doomsday get that far. However, this is a more evolved Doomsday who is not really as interested in fighting Superman, even though he does make it clear he will give Superman these hands if Superman is not willing to help him. If Superman won't willingly help Doomsday retire his own jersey so that he can come back better and stronger than ever, well, he's gonna force him to. But the thing that's even more interesting about the conversation that Doomsday is having with Superman is that because of the nature of Doomsday being the new Time Trapper, he is seeing things that Superman is not prepared for. We know that at least two major things are going to happen that Superman's going to have to deal with over the course of this new DC All-In era. You see, Doomsday said he got here just a little bit too early because Superman still has his right eye, going even further to say that Zod is going to be the one who's going to take it, and that Zod has not arrived yet. So considering everything just recently happened in the Joe Casey Kneel Before Zod story arc, the miniseries that I think wrapped up not too terribly long ago, Zod is on the way, so he is probably going to be looking to get that ass. As of Kneel Before Zod number 8, which seems to be the end of the series, as it says at the end for now, Zod seems to have his sights set on waging war across the cosmos. So we got a little bit more time before Zod's going to arrive on Earth to fight Kal-El one more time. We also know that whether it's a result of Zod's return or something else, or as a result of Doomsday coming back again, we also know that there are going to be some lives that are going to be lost, and we've already lost one this issue. One of the things I really loved about Joshua Williamson taking on Superman is that he seemed to be setting up a world where villains like Silver Banshee or Parasite or Livewire, characters who have just largely been bog standard Superman villains, could actually get an opportunity to become something better, giving them an opportunity to be more than just mustache twirling villains, and Parasite was chief among them. He seemed to have been turning over a new leaf, actually trying to be a better person and not giving in to the hunger that his power curses him with, that he's always trying to feed on other life forms to survive, and he's largely been staying clear of that unless he's doing it for Supercorp and fighting the bad guys, which he does here. He's actually instrumental in helping Superman take down Doomsday. Not the Time Trapper version, mind you, but the version of Doomsday that Superwoman was facing off with, albeit at the cost of his own life, getting literally ripped in half as a result. And it seems like he's gone. I don't know if he'll come back. I mean, what supervillain or superhero actually stays dead? I mean, come on. But Superman is acting as if Parasite is gone.
I really miss my nigga.
Parasite's a tough cookie. I think, maybe he will come back, but I think it will probably take a while to get there. But Parasite is but one of the first casualties that Superman's gonna have to contend with, which already has him worrying for Lois. Something that I think Lois is probably, I don't think she's gonna die, but I think she's definitely gonna catch it at some point. And we don't really know whether or not her powers are permanent, if they're gonna go away. I'm pretty sure they're not permanent, just because I think that's where the juicier story is. Like, okay, Lois has powers, but they could leave her at any moment. The worst case scenario for Superman is that Lois loses those powers the next time Doomsday or Zod come calling, and winds up getting the brakes beat off of her and not having any superhuman durability to save her from that ass whipping. But once again, that would be the worst case scenario for Superman in that regard, and she's already taken some pretty nasty bumps from the returned but less evolved Doomsday. And the thing is, it's not just that they have to worry about, as Superman muses that, oh man, I've already faced a Doomsday, I can only imagine what could be worse than a Doomsday. And that question can be immediately answered. It would be more than one Doomsday. We actually see a character towards the end of the issue that seems to be wearing the same getup that Doomsday was wearing when he first landed on Earth, wearing the green costume with the red circular lenses. A version of Doomsday who seems to already have at least a little bit of evolution. And originally when Doomsday landed in that costume, he wasn't intelligent by any stretch of the imagination. This one is someone who is already thinking 10 steps ahead. This Doomsday seems to be back on Calaton, a place where Superman once went to war with Doomsday during the Superman Doomsday Hunter-Prey story arc from 1994. This was also the same story arc where Superman learned the truth about where Doomsday came from, that he wasn't just some random occurrence, but that he actually came from Krypton. Whatever is going on here, there's another Doomsday out there, or at least something similar to him. And yeah, it's not gonna be good for Superman if he has to contend with not just one, but two Doomsdays at once. Considering that the Doomsday who arrived in this issue, he's not been killed. He's only been rendered unconscious. And it seems like Superman is struggling with his own powers, almost losing control just to lay down that one Doomsday. So just imagine, with everything going on, him having to face off with not one but two Doomsdays, he has the perfect partner to help him out, and that's Lois, operating as Superwoman. But as I said before, this could be the fight where those powers fail her.